Mario Party is an all-time classic series. They've been pumping them out since '98 and most of them are pretty damn fun. But one thing we always fail to consider is the storyline. Like, why are we even having Mario parties to begin with? What do these represent? And who the fuck is this guy? I'm gonna tell you all of that today, so let's waste no time and learn about the story of Mario Party. The first thing we need to do is answer the most basic question. What is a Mario Party? Well, we learned this in Mario Party 1's opening cutscene. Mario and friends are having an argument about who in their group is the biggest star, also known as a superstar. Wario and DK theorize that the superstar is powerful, implying one of them is worthy of the title. But then they're interrupted by the narrator, who says Mario or Peach could be the superstar instead. Or maybe even Yoshi, because he has a lot of energy. But then, Toad interrupts them all to tell us what a superstar really is. Toad tells us a superstar takes not only strength, but also courage, wisdom, and kindness. But to really find out who fits all of these traits, they should go on an adventure. He tells the group to travel to the Mushroom Village and go inside of this warp pipe to find out who really is the superstar between them. So that's what a Mario Party is. Mario Parties are both adventures and games of competition. It's kind of like a weird exam, and whoever scores the best is dubbed the superstar. Toad is usually the one who sets this exam up, and that's why he's the host in most of these games. This is kind of like Toad's game board hell. And maybe that's why they made him look so terrifying in this artwork. So I think that's interesting, but you might have already known a lot of that. This is probably the most well-known and basic part of the Mario Party lore. But there's still some fun stuff to be had in this game. I kind of breezed over it, but the Mushroom Village is a pretty interesting location. It's a very small, secluded little village in the Mario world, overrun by toads. We don't really see stuff like this too often. There are a lot of unique and interesting toads living in this town. All of them have character, especially this dude. You can buy a parrot off of him for 50 coins. And then you can have the parrot imitate any random voice line in the game. Here's him sounding like Donkey Kong. His artwork is precious too. I really like the Mario Party parrot. The last thing I'd like to mention about this village is this bank, where they keep track of the stars and coins you collect. And they tell you once you reach 100 stars, something will happen. This sounds exciting, so you grind all weekend for 100 stars, and guess what you get? Robbed. Bowser robs the bank and takes all of your hard-earned stars. What an asshole, man. But these two somehow knew this would happen, making me believe something else is going on here. Okay, so Mario Party 1 may have had an inside job or two, but as this series continues, it just gets even more ridiculous. So let's continue on with the series. Mario Party 2. This game is pretty weird. It feels a little similar, but it's pretty different from 1. Everybody is arguing again, but this time it's because they want to each create their own world. Like they're on some god shit. This is only the fucking second game. Mario wants to name this new world the Mario Land, but Wario argues it should be called Wario Land. Peach wants it to be Peach Land, etc. But while everyone is arguing, Bowser starts listening, and he gets the plan to invade this new world when they end up creating it. So Toad comes in and says, okay guys, whoever beats Bowser will get the new world named after them, and you'll also become a superstar. And then everyone sets off, that's all they needed to hear. This leads the Mario cast to 6 different lands, ending in Bowser Land. Bowser made sure he was prepared though. He ends up transforming into Metal Bowser, and claims to be invincible, bragging that now since he's metal, he is now the weight of 10 Bowsers combined. And this is pretty impressive, 10 Bowsers is pretty heavy. All seems lost, Metal Bowser is just too heavy. But then Toad shows up, and gives the player a star. And with this star, they gain immense strength. So much strength, in fact, that you're able to throw Metal Bowser into space. And if that wasn't enough, he actually falls back into Earth's atmosphere and dies. This would actually kill 10 Bowsers, I think. But of course we can celebrate now, man. Toad exclaims that now we can all live peacefully in the newly founded Mario Land. Yeah, it actually gets named Mario Land no matter who wins. You can beat this entire story mode as Wario and the world will still be named Mario Land. And the reason as to why is because this was all scripted. This was actually all an elaborate play setup to advertise the launch of their new amusement park, Mario Land. And this play actually occurs in the park. So it's kind of like if you went to Disney and watched Muppet Vision 3D. But yeah, this whole game isn't really real. It just confirms that Mario Land is an amusement park in-world, which is cool, I guess. So I was a little disappointed, to be honest, but Mario Party 3 instantly took away any disappointment I had. Mario Party 3 expands upon the role of the Superstar. The Superstar now requires more traits than it did previously. A Superstar now needs 7 traits instead of the previous 4. You now need Wit, Kindness, Strength, Love, Courage, Beauty, and Mischief. But that's not all. To find out if you're worthy of being a Superstar, you don't prove yourself to Toad anymore. No, it's just not that simple. Now you have to prove yourself to an actual god. This is the Millennium Star. It's said every 1,000 years a star is born in the center of the vast universe, and it's named the Millennium Star. According to the legend, if you prove yourself worthy, you will possess this mystical star, and whoever possesses the star is destined to become the superstar of the universe. This changes our entire perspective on what a superstar even is. It's not just some stupid name for bragging rights. It's actually kind of a celestial title given to mortals by the gods of our world. If you are chosen to be a superstar, you truly are a blessed individual. So how does this tie in with Mario and friends? Well, the Millennium Star crashes into Mario's group, and of course they start arguing about who's going to be the superstar again, leading to a fight over the Millennium Star. The Millennium Star isn't a toy though, it's had enough of their shit, so he transports all of them into a little toy box to play his game. He even gives a die, you know those things you roll? The gift of life, and he names it Tumble. Tumble becomes the new host of Mario Party 3, replacing Toad. This die is now able to talk, he has his own soul. It's kind of terrifying. If you didn't believe me about the star being a god, this should definitely convince you. He's a living dice creature. But next, the Millennium Star speaks to Mario and friends. Greetings, I am the Millennium Star. You must pass my test to prove yourself worthy of possessing me. You must journey across many lands and collect the star stamps. If you collect all 7, I shall accept you as the top superstar in the universe. Who will collect the 7 star stamps and become the universe's top superstar? Only one can be worthy of such a title. It becomes a contest between the Mario cast, Bowser, and the Koopa Kids to all chase the Millennium Star in hopes of becoming all-powerful. A lot of shenanigans happen, such as the Millennium Star falling in love with Daisy, giving her a free stamp, and that has a lot of implications, I feel. Or what about the time when Waluigi threw hands with Bowser and he surprisingly wins? Bowser even dramatically begs the player to avenge him and defeat Waluigi on Waluigi's Island. There's a lot going on is what I'm saying. Everything ends up leading to a final battle on Waluigi's Island, where Waluigi loses. But then, the Millennium Star reveals that to truly become the superstar, they have to defeat him next. So Mario's group proceeds to fight this star god in an epic battle, and of course they win, officially making them more powerful than the gods of their world. But then, the Millennium Star reveals something. He actually isn't the Millennium Star, and then he runs away in embarrassment. What? Okay, so if he's not a god, what is he? He brought Tumble to life earlier. I feel like he's not completely faking it. He has some powers for sure. But the allegations are true. He is not the Millennium Star. Finding this out, the player drops in disappointment. Distraught, they thought they were chosen to become the next ruler of the Mario universe. But then, Tumble's head cracks open, and reveals that the real Millennium Star was hiding inside of him all along. The real Millennium Star tells the player he's been watching all along, and he promises to bestow the title of Superstar upon them. The game ends with the Mario cast chilling, doing their own things, and that's the end of Mario Party 3. Mario Party 3 establishes a religion, a false god, and a talking die into the lore. This game is fucking insane. You should be able to understand why the characters fight for this title so hard now. This Mario Party shit really is serious. But if you've never played this game before, you might be super surprised about all of this. You probably didn't even know Tumble's name, and that's because they only show up in this one game. Did these guys just disappear? Well yeah, kinda man. Again, the Millennium Star only comes back every 1,000 years, and this game came out in the year 2000, meaning this actually kind of correlates with our real life timeline. confirming that the next Millennium Star will be born in the year 3000, and that's when Mario Party 4 will come out. Even though the Millennium Star is gone though, Tumble should at least appear, you'd think. I think he's a very cute character, and honestly, he's a good host choice for the series. I like him a lot. But he's a busy man, as we find out in Mario Party Advance, where he's the host of this other theme park, Party World. Party World is a floating amusement park with a bunch of different mini-games. There's even a little plot here where Bowser ends up stealing the mini-games, so you have to steal them back. You know, to be able to enjoy the full experience of Mario Party Advance. God, what a treasure. But that's about it for that entire game already. Tumble is just here for some reason. I guess you can just assume he's retired from the normal Mario parties in favor of just running the Party World amusement park. Which, good for him. He found out what he enjoys in life. He'll live out the rest of his days having fun. Or he just turned back into a normal die again. And if that's the case, he's actually probably deceased. Mario Party 4. I'm gonna put you in a little what-if scenario here. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, man. You're having a good time, hanging out with your friends. Then all of a sudden, a giant cloud starts forming in the sky, and then what looks like a gigantic gift bag starts to be birthed from the heavens itself. I'd imagine you would look somewhat concerned, maybe a little scared, and don't worry, when this scenario happened to Mario and friends, even they were in awe, and trust me, they've seen shit before. But it doesn't even end there. The gift bag then starts approaching them, and then eventually opens, revealing a bunch of different party hosts standing on top of a floating cube. This is the Party Cube, one of the most bizarre pieces of the Mario Party lore. This is a pure white cube that almost seems sentient. It can fly, and it has magical party powers. The group on top of the cube tells you that they got presents for your birthday, but the only way they'll give you the presents is if you party with them inside of the cube. Now, me personally, I think I'd fucking pass on the gifts at this point. I wouldn't want to mess with this. I'd think that the Party Cube is definitely some kind of dangerous supernatural power. But of course we have to play, man. So the Mario crew all travel inside of the Party Cube, which is where all of the boards and games of Mario Party 4 take place. Multiplayer mode, story mode, they all take place here, which kind of makes the Party Cube its own realm of existence. In the story mode, you're forced into the cube, and you do end up getting your birthday presents as promised. There are actually a lot of different presents you can get. To put it in perspective, you can get a present for Mario by beating the Koopa board as Mario, but then you could also get a different present for Waluigi if you beat that same Koopa board as Waluigi. And since there's 6 boards and 8 characters, that adds up to 48 different presents you can collect in the story mode alone. There are even another 11 presents you can collect in the minigame mode, totaling up to 59. This whole present shit sounds like one of the worst experiences ever for completionists. You'd have to play 48 games of Mario Party story mode, and then you'd have to spend even more time grinding minigames. What a fucked up birthday. I looked it up and found a speedrun by this cool dude, the King of Flub, and this madman spent 45.5 hours grinding Mario Party 4 to get all of the presents in this game. And this is apparently the world record. I'm not sure if it's outdated, but it at least was the world record at one point. This is pure hell. I don't know what kind of maniac you would have to be to want to run this, but I kinda get it, because the presents are kinda lit, bro. I'm obviously not gonna go over every present, but I have a couple of favorites here. Check this shit out. This is Mario's refrigerator. Apparently there's always leftover pasta inside. This is Luigi's dumbbell, and he's not strong enough to actually carry it. It's purely for display. Wario owns both a gigantic burger and his famous bike, but it actually tells us here that Wario lost his license recently, so he can't legally drive it right now. Here's Donkey Kong's tree, he takes good care of it. And finally, Waluigi's calendar. If you ever need a month of January calendar for 2002, Waluigi's got you, bro. Take a screenshot just in case you might need it one day, you'll thank me later. But anyway, back to the story mode. Once you beat 5 boards as a single character, Bowser shows up and threatens to steal all of your well-earned presents, unless you beat him in a Mario Party. Once you win, Bowser says he stole all of your presents anyway, which leads to a final boss battle. Bowser loses and he runs away out of shame, dropping an extra present on the ground in the process. Koopa Kid then reveals that Bowser never actually stole any of the presents. He was just gaslighting you this entire time. That's the end of that. But there's one final thing Toad has for you. A final present. For all of your hard work. One of the stars you collected back in your adventure paints a constellation in your image to wish you a very happy birthday. The credits then roll while showing us a slideshow on how Toad and friends stumbled upon the party cube to begin with. Finding it in a warp pipe, they got attached to it. Boo started drawing his friends onto the cube, and you can tell they're all having fun, it's pretty cute. They then make invitations for the Mario cast to invite them to their party. They all get dressed up in their Willy Wonka-like clothes, and they name themselves the Cube Hit 5. A star shows up before they leave, and they decide to also draw him onto the cube. They now all get on top of the cube and depart to Mario and friends to have a fun party. And that all leads into the beginning of the game, which I talked about earlier. It's pretty fucking adorable, man. And honestly, way much more context than I think we needed, but you know it's cool. But it's not quite over. We get one last cutscene, showing the Cube Hit 5 walking beside the cube after the party is over. The cube erases all the drawings from itself, and then flies into the sky, never to be seen again. Didn't show up in Mario Party 5 or anything. It's hard to describe what the party cube really is. It's developed relationships with people. People can go inside of it to party and play games. It can fly. It's a lot, but it's an unforgettable piece of the Mario Party world. And for all we know, the party cube may still be out there, somewhere, making new friends and having new parties. So now you know there are multiple magical entities in Mario Party, but there are actually a lot more than what I've said so far. Put it this way, the Millennium Star is a god. But just like Greek mythology, there are actually multiple gods in this world. They all just have different roles and do different things. Let me introduce you to the Star Guards from Mario Party 5. These guys are the gods of dreams. In the night sky, past the moon and beyond the stars, there's a dream world known as the Dream Depot. This is where everyone's dreams in the world come together. The Star Spirits from Paper Mario, in this game called the Star Guards, are almighty beings who protect the dreams of everybody in the universe. They all have different names: Eldstar, Mamar, Scholar, Muscular, Mistar, Clevar, and Kalmar. You can see them on the main menu and they all run a different mode in the game. But what's their role in the story? Well, one dreamy night, the Star Guards thought something to themselves. Many dreams arrive here at Dream Depot every day, so why don't we offer those with the power of dreaming a chance to visit? So they think to themselves, which mortal should we let visit our special world? They end up choosing the Mario cast because when it comes to dreamers, nobody dreams bigger than they do. So the Star Guards create a bunch of games for the Mario cast to partake in, and that's how this Mario Party began. But while this is happening, Bowser and Koopa Kid make a plan to take over and ruin everyone's dreams. And I get Bowser's the antagonist and all, but this is some hater-ass fucking mentality. It's not even that it's that evil, it's just a fucked up thing to do. It's inconveniencing the entire world. This leads into a fight with Bowser in the minigame Frightmare, and when the player beats him, his plans are now foiled, making everyone's dreams safe. But after everything, in what seems to be this purgatory land, Bowser tells you he's the one who actually won. His dream all along was just to challenge a strong opponent, and you were worthy. You were his strong opponent, and you made his dream come true. And now everyone can dream peacefully in the Mario world. But if you want a real fucking Frightmare, take a look at this shit. These are some of the 3D models in this game. Why does the penguin look like that? I actually recoiled looking at this thing, bro. How did they think that was okay? So yeah, there are also dream gods in an entire world made up of all of our dreams. It's pretty bizarre. But there are even more gods that we need to add to our diagram, like Brighton and Twyla from Mario Party 6. To put it simply, Brighton and Twyla are the sun and the moon. And I mean that in literal terms. It's not like a metaphor, they are actually the sun and the moon in this world. They watch over the Mario Party world from the sky, and they apparently host the best parties. The instruction manual even calls them celestial party animals. These two were homies, until Brighton asked Twyla, who's more impressive, you or me? This led to a fierce argument. The sky even started thundering due to their anger. So Mario and friends are kind of scared by this, and they try to attempt to make them cool again, implying the idea that Mario and friends are not only aware of the sun and moon gods before Mario Party 6, but they're chill with them too, at least enough to go and talk to them like it's nothing. But anything the Mario Squad did wasn't able to calm down the two. They were just too angry, too fumed. So Mario comes up with a brilliant plan. to harness the power of the stars to end the dispute for good. So they threw a massive Mario Party to collect stars once again, in an attempt to fill the Star Bank, which is a windmill in the game that rewards the Mario characters with gifts for getting stars. It's a magical windmill. By collecting stars, they are able to obtain the pages of the Miracle Book, which kind of just sounds like the Bible. But what is the Miracle Book? It's actually just this random pop-up book that has Mario and friends playing like mini-games on it, doing stupid stuff. It doesn't seem that important, but for some reason it is. It is. Because once the Miracle Book is filled out, Brighton and Twyla finally notice that the Star Bank is completely filled with stars. They pause their argument for a minute and realize how hard Mario and his friends must have worked to make this happen. Brighton and Twyla just kind of feel like dicks, so they're like, hey man, Mario, I apologize. We didn't want to bring you into our argument. So Brighton and Twyla make up, and to show their appreciation, they send all of Mario's hard-earned stars flying into the sky. This feels like kind of a dick thing to do though, right? Isn't this pretty much the same thing as in Mario Party 1 where you get robbed by Bowser? This time they try to paint it as a good thing though, I guess. I'm just not completely buying it. But anyway, the ending of this game states that Brighton and Twyla watched over the Mario Party world until the end of time, meaning they're still out there today. Anytime you see the sun and moon in Mario Party, that's Brighton and Twyla, which is pretty cool. I mean, to be honest, this is a detail Nintendo has probably forgotten by this point, but it's a detail that is always going to be true unless they specifically retcon this. Mario Party is always at least going to have a sun somewhere on one of the maps, so that technically means they appear in the newest games. Next time you play Jamboree, when you see the sun, I hope you think of our favorite character, Brighton. Fucking stupid name, though. But isn't this all pretty decent world building so far? Like, every supernatural power in this world doesn't interfere or retcon with each other. They all can coexist and it still makes perfect sense. It's honestly kind of jarring. Most of the time I do shit like this, it gets confusing really fucking fast. But yeah, I mean, this all makes sense to me. But all of the god shit is a little overwhelming. So let's take a nice vacation to Mario Party 7. In this game's plot, Toadsworth, one of the coolest characters in the Mario world, wants to reward Mario and friends for always saving the day and fighting evil. So he decides to invite them to a nice vacation. He takes them on a cruise named the MSS Sea Star. And every character here is super excited to take a break and relax from all of their hard work. But then Bowser gets a little bit upset, because Toadsworth invited everyone except him. And I get it, man, I mean, being left out isn't a great feeling. So Bowser decides to get some revenge for Toadsworth's blunder here. You know, we play some fucking Mario Party, it's the usual. The player ends up winning on Bowser's board and defeats Bowser and Koopa Kid in a final battle, again, like usual. But this time the power of the stars ends up defeating him. And obviously it's kind of implied, but this is our first real example of the stars being more than just collectible items. We're usually just keeping them in banks or showing them off in the sky, but we've never really used them as a force of destruction until now. As a power that can be used to take down another individual. I know you could have probably guessed that they have magical powers, but I think it would have been fair to assume if they didn't. I mean, these are pretty different from the normal Mario World stars. They act nothing like how they do in the normal games. I'll go a little deeper into this later, but for now, let's just move on. The game ends with Bowser and Koopa Kid stranded on an island, while Mario sails away, continuing his hard-earned vacation. Bowser admits he did have at least a little bit of fun though, trying to prank Mario. Of course he did, man. You know, Bowser's such a goofball. But that's pretty much it. My favorite thing of note from this game though, is that this would be the last time we would ever see Koopa Kid. On this island right here. Meaning there's a real possibility that he's been stranded here since 2005. After this loss, Bowser must have just left his ass there for Junior. It's a sad tale, to be honest. He's just gone, man. I don't really know what to say. It's possible he could have escaped the island, or he got eaten by coconut crabs. It's one or the other. There's no in between, I've heard. We've built up the world a lot in the past few games, but Mario Party 8 goes back to the series' roots in the lore. It goes back to focusing on the superstar. I haven't mentioned it in a while, and that's because in the story it's taken kind of a backseat. Like, sure, it's been mentioned in these games, but the games focus more on these new characters and their roles, rather than the title of superstar. And in some of these games, you don't even become the superstar when you win. Like, if you win in the Party Cube, you actually become the Party Star. Or in the Dream Depot, you become the Dream Star. Now, these titles don't mean much. It's pretty much just different wording to be different, but I'm trying to make a point that the superstar has been kind of in the backseat for a while. But Mario Party 8 changes that. As we've discussed before, Mario Parties are exams to see if you're worthy of becoming the superstar, but sometimes this exam has different proctors. Toad is usually the main one. There was Tumble and the Millennium Star in Mario Party 3, but now there is actually one more character who is worthy of bestowing the title of superstar to mortals. This dapper ass dude, MC Ballyhoo. Or if you want his full government name, the Master of Catastrophe Ballyhoo. Now fun fact, this character is actually split into two different characters. Of course we have MC Ballyhoo, but the hat he's wearing is actually a separate person entirely, named Big Top. Drop a sub if you need some Big Top in your life. These two are homies and think completely differently. They're completely independent. They just happen to be together all the time. Big Top is a much calmer character compared to Ballyhoo, who's very loud and charismatic in contrast.
Ha ha ha! Good luck!
But the most important thing about Ballyhoo is that he's the host of one of the Mario Party world's most prestigious events, the Star Carnival. The Star Carnival happens once every single year, and it's happening right now, man. And Mario and friends are excited. They decide to go visit the Star Carnival and have some fun. But MC Ballyhoo takes this carnival surprisingly seriously. He is not only the host, but he is the founder of the Star Carnival. And ever since its conception, he has devoted each year to planning the next year's carnival. Each carnival is a little different each time, but every Star Carnival always has the same major event, the Star Battle. The Star Battle is hosted in the Star Battle Arena, in which a contestant must win 5 games of Mario Party in a row to become the champion. Whoever wins the Star Battle receives a year's supply of candy, as well as being dubbed the Superstar. Once you finally win this Star Battle, Big Top's head cracks open and reveals a secret prize, the Star Rod. The Star Rod is the prize for becoming the Superstar, and it actually has magical properties. It's able to shoot these star energy balls. So in Ballyhoo's version of the Mario Party exam, you actually get a weapon as a prize. Right as you're being awarded the Star Rod, Bowser comes in and steals it. Then he runs back into his own board in outer space. So the player is forced into one more game of Mario Party against one of Bowser's minions, either Blooper or Hammer Bro. Remember, Koopa Kid died last game. And after the player wins, Bowser begrudgingly gives back the Star Rod. But then we have to remember, Bowser is mentally 10 years old, so he changes his mind right afterward and demands a duel for the rights to the Star Rod. And then they literally fight in the fucking vacuum of space. It's insane. The player uses the magical power of the Star Rod to defeat Bowser, and MC Ballyhoo, for real this time, dubs the player the superstar of this year's Star Carnival. So in this version of the exam, you're only the superstar for a year. Think of it as like a presidential term. Maybe next year you will be worthy. But of course the main prize really is the year's supply of candy. This candy makes you fucking trip balls, bro. This candy can turn you into shitty pixel art, a bullet bill, or even just a ball. Some pretty hardcore stuff, man. Now speaking of hardcore shit, let's talk about Mario Party DS. One night in the Mushroom Kingdom, 5 fragments fall from the sky. They are known as the Sky Crystals. What are the Sky Crystals? I'll tell you later, my friend, because that's spoilers. For now, I just want you to know that there are 5 of them, and when you gather them all together, something special happens. But one of these Sky Crystals lands next to Mario, so he takes it, and he tells his friends about it the next day. When he's telling them though, Kamek drops a bunch of invitations on top of them. The invitations are for a big Bowser bash, so they all go to Bowser's castle to indulge in this feast. But once they arrive, they get put in a cell. Bowser laughs at them while holding this new staff he recently acquired, the Minimizer. A staff capable of turning things tiny. So Bowser steals Mario's Sky Crystal and shrinks Mario and friends to the size of chess pieces. Next, they get thrown far outside of Bowser's castle, and then they land in what appears to be a suburban neighborhood. Now that Mario and friends are no longer a problem, Bowser sets off to find the remaining 4 Sky Crystals with no trouble. So now everybody wants to beat Bowser, they are pissed clearly. But there's an issue here. They all want to kick Bowser's ass, but they all want to be the sole person to kick his ass. Like it's personal. So this leads into a competition. Whoever can beat Bowser themselves will be known as the Superstar. The crew then goes to different boards and defeats different members of Bowser's army, who conveniently each were currently holding a Sky Crystal. They fight a Piranha Plant and a Hammer Bro. Now those are normally two very basic enemies, but it's kind of fucking terrifying when you're the size of a bishop. These fights vary from actual fights to Simon Says, to then just actual witchcraft. That's the only thing that can explain this weird dry bones fight. So they overcame these hard struggles and slowly gathered the Sky Crystals. But of course there's one last opponent. The gang foolishly charges into Bowser's castle, almost forgetting the fact that they are like 2 inches tall, so Bowser plays a prank on them. He puts them inside of a pinball machine and makes them play Mario Party in it. And if that wasn't enough, Bowser Jr. also gets to play on the pinball machine while you're all inside of it partying. Imagine you're in this scenario and you got hit by one of those balls. You would like 100% just die, right? This is such like a convoluted, specific fucking way to die. But don't worry, the game of Mario Party ends with everybody alive. And Bowser has a reward for them. And that is to shrink them with the Minimizer a second time. And now Bowser is going to step on you. And as this whole thing is happening, Donkey Kong shows up. And he is very hungry. DK is so excited and hungry, he accidentally bumps into Bowser, which makes him drop the Minimizer, and then DK steps on it, breaking it instantly. This returns the Mario cast to normal size, but Bowser still has one more thing in his pockets. Bowser finally whips it out, the Megamorph Belt. This belt turns Bowser into Blockhead Bowser. It's just a bunch of blocks, and that's what this form is. It almost functions like a suit of armor. It's kind of really cool. The player beats Bowser and ties him up, taking back the final Sky Crystal. And now that they are all close together, the Sky Crystals finally merge, and the true nature of the crystals are finally revealed. When all of the Sky Crystals are gathered, they come together and transform themselves into a Nintendo DS. But this isn't any ordinary Nintendo DS. This DS has the game Triangle Twisters pre-installed on it. Let me show you some gameplay of Triangle Twisters. Bowser becomes sad, because he actually only wanted the Sky Crystals to play Triangle Twisters all along. He's bummed that they get to play such a fun game and he doesn't. This makes the Mario crew feel bad, and they say, you know what, it's okay. You can play Triangle Twisters with us. They all play Triangle Twisters together, and the game ends. Donkey and Diddy Kong also got the good ending because they got to eat all of Bowser's food. All of this nonsense actually allows me to put a real ass picture of a DS onto this graphic, and you can't yell at me about it. The Nintendo DS is a big part of the Mario Party lore, and you saw. I'm sorry man, I don't make the rules, I just follow them, that's my job. So I'm also gonna put my attempt of today's Wordle right next to the party cube here. Let's move on now, bro. This one's gonna be interesting. Mario Party 9. This is the game we get introduced to the mini-stars. The mini-stars originate from outer space, and you can kind of compare them to real stars from our world. No, they're not burning balls of gas, but they help light up the night sky of the Mario world. And they're so remarkable that the Mario crew decides to just look at them and stargaze, admiring their beauty. But all of a sudden, a gigantic vortex forms in the sky and starts sucking up all of the mini-stars. It almost looks like a world-ending event, like this is a black hole or something. But no, this is actually Bowser's doing. But this is fucking impressive. I mean, check this shit out. It's not like he made a black hole or anything. He's actually just using a vacuum, you know, to suck stars out of space. This is one fucking hell of a vacuum. The amount of power needed to do this would be incredible. But I'm even more impressed by the fact that Bowser is just kinda standing right next to it. This is super dangerous, Bowser. If it can suck stars out of space, it should definitely be able to suck you into it as well. Especially if you are literally only a foot away from it. Whatever though, man. Mario is not even pissed this time. He knows Bowser is a hater by now. So he just gets right to it, and runs off with his friends, with the mission of returning the mini-stars back to space, so they can continue stargazing. This is interesting though. A Shy Guy and Kamek watch Mario leave to go face Bowser, but they decide to join their group as spies. They infiltrate Mario's group as insiders and gather intel for Bowser secretly, and that's the reason why they are playable characters in Mario Party 9. This is pretty much exactly what happened with Crunch and Diddy Kong Racing, and I think that's kind of cool. It's a little interesting they did the same thing here. Eventually, Mario meets Bowser in space and battles him for the mini-stars. They win, and they successfully free the mini-stars. The game then ends as it started, everyone admiring the mini-stars in a telescope. But now there is interesting shit to talk about, man. I've been sitting on this one for a while, but the normal stars in Mario Party, the way those form are actually when the mini-stars merge together, as we can see this on the windscreen from Mario Party 9. That's how the stars are born, and since the mini-stars originate from outer space, they really are like stars from our world. They are literally birthed from the sky. So it's kind of interesting that we have so many of these stars on the Mario world. But a lot of things tend to fall from the sky in this series, so I guess it kind of makes sense. Besides that though, there's another thing I've been hiding. Meet the Zitars. These are literally dark stars, even being called that in some of the games. They debuted in Mario Party 1 actually. They were around for a fucking while. I just didn't mention them until now. The purpose of the Zitar is that it's essentially a negative star. If you own a star, it will take one away from you. And even if you don't own a normal star, it will actually rob you for the price of how much a star should cost. So these dudes are evil. And just like the stars, there are mini Zitars, which is the same thing. You lose mini stars when you touch them. There's not really much to the mini Zitars, but my favorite fact personally is that on the map DK's Jungle Ruins, the mini-stars are replaced with bananas. So there is actually a Zitar version of the banana called the Z Banana. And Donkey Kong doesn't like these because these take away his bananas. And fuck it man, let's go a little deeper into the item rabbit hole. Like let's talk about the genie lamp. This is yet another source of magical power in the Mario Party world. There are a total of 3 different genies that can be summoned. There's the genie of the lamp, the mushroom genie, and the mushroom genie. The first 2 are pretty similar, but let's talk about the mushroom one first. You can summon him by acquiring the genie lamp. You can't wish to be immortal or anything though. All he does is take you to the star. And he's not even willing to pay for the star, that shit still comes out of your pocket. So honestly, he looks really cool, but this is probably the shittiest genie I've ever fucking seen. No 3 wishes, no nothing, not even like a lanyard. At least his design is cool, I really do like how this dude looks. But what about the other one from Mario Party 4? Well, he's practically the same. They both take you to the star, they both look really handsome while doing it, they both even come out the same item, the genie lamp. So they might as well be the same. But remember, he's in the game where everything takes place within the party cube. Meaning the party cube birthed this magical creature within itself. The genie of the lamp requires the party cube to even live. It really shows how much power that cube has. But last but not least, the mushroom genie. She's a female toad that can be summoned from the lucky lamp, which is a different item, and what she will do is randomly move the star to another location. But she kind of has an attitude, she's kind of like a dick. This is just rude. Learn manners. But as you can see, she contrasts pretty well with the other genie. She does at least say fungus pocus when casting a spell though, and I at least think that's pretty cool. The last major item I'd like to talk about are the orbs from Mario Party 5 through 7. These things were in 3 separate games. Nintendo was really hyping these things up to just be a staple in Mario Party going forward, just to be scrapped for candy when 8 came out. The orbs are interesting though. It's not really like they serve a massive lore purpose, but they've always piqued my interest personally. Like in Mario Party 5, the only way to get your hands on an orb is by talking to this fucking creep. He just kinda looks scary to me. This is supposed to be the Orb Man, the Orb Dealer? I wish he had a name. I mean, he's clearly sentient, he's talking, but no. His name is just Capsule Machine. A poor name for a poor bastard. The orbs are literally just items though. They have the same functionality. They have no point to be special, but for some reason they were in 3 games in a row. I guess Nintendo just had some really weird Gashapon capsule phase in the GameCube. I don't really know, man. But that's it. That's pretty much every item I want to talk about from these games. And no, sadly I do not have any lore about the car from Mario Party 9. I really tried, like actually, I wanted to know more about this car, but sadly it is just a car. The car returns in Mario Party 10, where it still does fucking nothing. This is my warning, I'm skipping these games, they have no story or lore, I had to let you know somehow. Literally nothing to talk about, these are just games and not even good ones. But we're pretty much at the end here, my friend. The Super Mario parties are both stupidly simple, and to be honest, they almost feel like reboots in a way. The plot of Super Mario Party is damn near the same as Mario Party 1, where there's an argument for who should be the superstar. But in this version, Bowser shows up and also wants to compete with his minions. But this is kind of flawed since Toad is the host. So to have fair and impartial judging, Bowser hires Kamek to be one of the judges for the superstar competition. And Toadette is also there for some reason, which I guess makes them both worthy of deciding the superstar too. We have 3 proctors for this exam. Kamek then creates the venue for these games to take place, and then Super Mario Party begins. Again, it's very similar to MP1, it's pretty much a reboot. They even incorporate gems that are themed around the superstar traits. The gem of tenacity, spirit, courage, love, and passion. And when all of the gems are collected, they fuse together and form into a victory podium, to which the newly crowned superstar stands on top of. Everyone chooses to respect this outcome, and they all agree to get along and respect the superstar, at least until the next party begins. So then now we have Jamboree, the latest game in the series. This game is also kind of whatever with the plot though. This game focuses on the player helping Kamek set up the new game boards for the competition, helping different NPCs by doing different favors, usually in the form of a minigame. It's pretty much just helping set up the venue for the party, which is probably why the mode is called the Party Planner Trek. We don't usually think about who makes the boards in most of these games, so I'll admit it's kind of interesting to see the process on how the boards from Mario Party are set up, but that's all it's really got going for it. This exam is also judged by Kamek again, and this time a yellow Toad since the normal Toad is actually playing in this game. But one thing I do find interesting from this game is when Kamek turns a Toadie into a fake Bowser to help run the Bowser spaces on the board, again since Bowser is playing. This needed to be done, and it's pretty interesting. Anytime you run into the Bowser space in Jamboree, it's actually just a roided up Toadie. But yeah, that's it for Jamboree 2. So what is this, the end? Well, not really. I left one final game for last, because I'm convinced this game would take place at the end of the Mario Party timeline. So I wanted to personally tell you how Mario Party ends. Right here, right now. Mario Party Island Tour. So what happens in this game? Well, Mario and friends get a letter inviting them to the Party Islands, a new location. It's a beautiful set of magical floating islands to have fun and play. It sounds like a dream come true. They were already excited to go, but all of a sudden, the letter traps them in bubbles and carries them to the Party Islands. It's almost like they didn't have a choice, which is kind of already a red flag, but we'll move on. Everything is cool at the Party Islands, so it doesn't matter, and everyone is having fun. But Bowser gets jealous again. Why were Mario and his friends invited, but not me? It's a reasonable thought. And it does kind of just sound like Mario Party 7, I know, but it's different, trust me. This time he decides to purchase an acre of land on the Party Islands, and he renovates it by constructing his own building, Bowser's Tower. But unlike Mario and friends, Bowser is actually a nice and chill dude. So he puts out an open invitation for anyone to come in and have a party with him inside of his tower. Even though they didn't invite Bowser, he's still gonna invite them, and that's really mature of him, actually. But of course, since this is Bowser, this is actually nefarious as fuck. It's all a scheme. And he has frightening plans this time. He starts by trapping all of the fun and games from the Party Islands into bubbles, which is already a fucked up thing to do. But then next, he starts putting dark magic into this bubble machine here. And what this allows him to do is create bubble clones of Mario's friends. And he has his clones just mess with them. Like, maybe he has them step on their shoes, or maybe when they try to get food, they cut in line. The Mario crew isn't really too happy about this, so they obviously need to save the day. So the player, and specifically a green Toad for some reason, traverse through the tower to stop Bowser. They end up beating Bowser in a final showdown, and then they break the bubble machine. So it all seems fine. But then, all of a sudden, Bowser shows up again, revealing that the Bowser they just beat was actually just a bubble copy of himself. So he knocks them off the tower and fixes the bubble machine, and tells them if they ever want to challenge him for real, they can climb the tower again. But the thing is, if you do climb the tower again, the exact same thing happens. You just end up beating Bowser's bubble copy again, and you get sent back to the Party Islands, making this effectively an infinite loop. there's not really an end. I mean, sure, they can climb up the tower 1,000 times, but it will still have the same result each time. Which is why I think this is the final game in the timeline. There's no real conclusion. And if you think about the beginning of this game, the Mario crew basically got kidnapped with those bubble invitations anyway. We don't even really know if there's a way to escape the party islands. The game itself even states that this is the greatest crisis the party islands has ever faced. I mean, really, what can they even do? They were brought here by the bubbles, and now they are forced into an endless task to save themselves from the bubbles. The task of winning is not a concept on the party islands, and that's what happened. Mario's been trapped here since 2013, and I don't think he's gonna leave anytime soon. I mean, there's still hope. Maybe when the Millennium Star comes back into year 3000, he can save the crew from this hell. But dude, that's a long ass wait away. And until then, everyone is forced to party on these islands. You could classify this as a good thing maybe. I mean, at the end of the day, they're partying, which is always fun. But trust me man, nothing is fun forever. This is a bubble-filled nightmare, and that's the end of Mario Party. I thought some of you may also appreciate this shit. This was my mock-up for the diagram, and I think it speaks for itself. This was an unironic thing my brain made, but the video's actually over now. Thank you Camden for drawing the thumbnail again. The Millennium Star and Tumble are very handsome here, and here's the full art. Go support him, man. Bye bye.